Welcome to Conversations with Spirit, where we dive deep into the mystical and enchanting realms of spirituality. I'm your host, spiritual medium Lauri Albert, and together with special guests, we explore a world of spiritual insights and experiences, as well as offer captivating mediumship and oracle card readings. Tune in for enlightening conversations that will uplift your soul and expand your consciousness. And hello, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Spirit. My name is Lauri Albert. I am a spiritual medium and I am the host. And I want to share with you all that I do this show in conjunction with evolveme.com, which is an all things metaphysical and spiritual website whose mission is to facilitate and empower personal enlightenment to all that seek it. There are many mediums and healers and classes and workshops and retreats on there. So please go ahead and take a look at that. So thanks for doing that. So tonight, oh my gosh, you guys, tonight I have with me my friends, and I just can't wait till you meet all of my friends. Okay. First of all, I've got shamanic medium Lauri Sheffer, who has been on the show before. We've got psychic medium Theon Paulino-Filippelli, who has been on the show before. But first timer, yay! We have got mystic, channel, and teacher of teachers, Yogi Sonia Hernandez. And they are all here to discuss with all of us finding your personal power and tapping into your own infinite possibilities. Okay. Now, this episode is going to be sensational because we are going to give you some tidbits. Yes, I use the word tidbits and hints on allowing yourself to become free of the constraints that hold you back in your life, right? And also from being your most amazing self, right? And we're also going to discuss our upcoming retreat in Sedona, Arizona. So welcome to the show, Lauri, Theon, and Sonia. Thanks for being here. Yay.
Thank you.
I am so excited to start this conversation out because I really think that right now, and you guys tell me if you agree or disagree, it doesn't, just tell me that I think this is needed right now. I think this conversation, this retreat that we're doing, I think it's really, really needed right now. Does anybody want to jump in for that?
I'm going to jump in with a little story that relates to this. So yeah, I do Onion shamanism as well as be a medium. And so everything nature, there's messages everywhere. And so it's been quite the process for us here doing this retreat. And we also have other things going on in our life. And so for me, it's like juggling all those things and getting ready. So the other day, I'm working in my yard and doing building a new monarch garden with milkweed, right? Getting it all ready, expanding, because monarchs are my love. Anyway, so I got the mulch. I'm digging in that mulch. We got 3 yards of mulch. And I got the shovel in there deep, and I pull out a chicken egg. And fresh chicken egg, right? And at the time, I was like, hey, look at this chicken egg, right? And I, toss it behind me. I don't think about it. And I get in the shower because my best spiritual time is in the shower. And suddenly I go, oh my gosh. Now, I ask all of you, so what do you think pulling a chicken egg out of the mulch because it's for the new garden means, right? Any idea, Theon or Lauri, what a chicken egg might mean or what it would resonate with you?
Birthing newness. Go ahead, Theon. You go.
Oh yeah, actually, I was going to say very much the same thing, and but it's interesting that it was in the ground.
It was in the mulch.
Oh, in the mulch. Oh, when you got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say, well, you're getting ready for the monarch. So that was really
Earth. And for us, the symbolism, right? Sonia, you're really into that stuff. I saw Sonia go, yeah.
Oh, well, Elizabeth says it came with the mulch.
It did.
So it actually came with the mulch. So this poor mama is probably looking for her baby egg.
Well, I'm sure she laid it like a chicken egg, as they do everywhere, right? But Sonia, you were about to say something.
I was just going to riff a little bit on like the new birth and the butterfly. And one thing that's been resonating with me about butterflies, and then, you know, I live here in Sedona, so of course I have bringing like the hometown, like come to Sedona, it's so magical here. And what I think is so magical about the butterfly is the butterfly never sees its own wings.
Yes.
Think about the beauty.
Wow, that's like a boom. Oh my
I
gosh.
know. And so we like, certainly, you know, chrysalis, we awaken, we grow our wings, but it's like, who's to say we don't already have our wings?
Right. And we just can't see them. So
we can't see
yeah.
it. I know.
Yeah,
It's
see,
just something
I think we are we're going to the birthing caves when we're there. And so the idea that, you know, and it is that time when the symbolism of, and the monarchs are my particular love, and the symbolism as the monarchs are traveling, I'm sure right now they're in Sedona because, or they're making their way north. So it's so symbolic. So for me, when I went and found the shell, the egg I cracked, and I grabbed the shell and I actually did ceremony with it, and to honor that and to honor this time, because it was amazing. Then today, a snake jumped out of the grass at me, and it was, you know, a gentle snake.
Another symbol.
I know. I was just going to say that.
Yeah, right. And they go, whoo! You know, so symbols are jumping out at me everywhere. And so this says that this is going to be such an astounding time, not only in my own life, but I believe in all of our lives, and that we're now opening this up, as you like to say, Sonia, the container, to share this rebirthing and this, you know, to use the snake symbolism, to shed these skins that don't fit anymore. You know, they just don't fit us anymore. So now it's a time to release that. So then we can, and you're a little raw when you do that. And that's okay, because that's part of the process.
Exactly.
It's very true. Theon, you were going to say something?
Oh no, I was just going to say, you know, what beautiful symbology while you're doing your lawn. But you're right. I mean, you know, us as a collective are always going through that shedding period. And I think right now, for some reason, I think we've all talked about this on other occasions, is that, you know, there is a need for shedding, and there's always a need for rebirth. And you know, us, as we're collecting a lot of, you know, continuing to collect conditioning and things like that we get from our surroundings, that, you know, it's always that constant movement. But for us, and especially for those who are seeking their spiritual path, it is always important to, you know, to stop, to enjoy the experience, but also know that you're always fluid, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, what's really interesting, Dose of Sunshine, which is Rachel, says, she goes, whoa, my dog got bit by a snake this weekend. He's okay. Yes. But I knew the snake was telling me something. And isn't that funny? Because that's going to be, Lauri, that's going to be one of the things that we're kind of sort of focusing on the retreat.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to explain that?
Well, yeah,
if I tried to explain it, that wouldn't go so well.
You know, so we're taking some of the stuff that we use in Andean shamanism. So in the South, and we are going to be in the South, the serpent, the snake, is called Sachamama. That is Quechua. So when you're working in the South, when you're working with the snake, it's the time to really, to work with that snake. When you think about it, and there are times in our lives now, think about the times that you hear the message that's saying, oh, quit that job, or, oh, do this and do that. But you're like, oh, I really need that money. I can't do that. Or, oh, you know, I'm real comfortable in this, and I'm in this relationship. I don't like it, but I know this relationship, right? And then something happens to really mess it up, you know, mess things up. And maybe and force you into that change. You lose your job or happens to you, and you're forced into it because spirit is saying you need to make a change. And I've been giving you messages, I've been telling you, but you haven't been hearing me. And almost like that skin now is so tight. And if you don't change, work on that on your own, it's gonna burst anyway. It's like a kid. Try and keep a 5-year-old clothes on a 10-year-old. It doesn't work, right? It just doesn't work. And so we have to be able to change with, as we're growing, the change has to happen with us. And we may not even realize we're growing, but we are. And so that is a really a big piece that we're going to be working with to start with.
Can I just share a weird story? Okay. And I think you three probably know this, but maybe the audience doesn't. So I'm not scared of much. I'm not scared of dying. I'm not scared of much, but I'm petrified of snakes, like petrified of snakes. And it's so interesting because as you were just talking, Lauri, I started to think to myself, I wonder if it's really about nervousness of change. Do you know what I mean? For me. Maybe it doesn't have anything to do with an actual snake, right? But maybe it's the wanting everything to stay the same because I'm comfortable with it. But what would happen if I allowed myself to shed that skin? Like, oh my God, I'm getting emotional. Oh my God. Like, where would I be? Where would I be if I allowed myself to shed that skin? Oh my God. I'm having like this big epiphany.
No, that's beautiful. Yeah.
Oh
and
my gosh.
So much goes into that, Lauri, and I think this is true for a lot of us in this growth, in the sense that, okay, if I step into this, right, and let's say things do really boom for me, I'm going to be seen. Oh my gosh, I'm going to, am I ready to manage this? And that then feeds into the way that we use language with ourselves and so many things. It's like when I was working in special ed as a teacher, I really would work with my kids not to call themselves stupid or to use, Sheffer, I have a learning disability. I know, honey, but that doesn't mean you can't learn. And it would be trying to help them to reframe the way that they think. And we all need to do that. We do that. For me, I was always told I was a klutz when I was a kid. Really, my head was in the clouds. My head was in the clouds. I wasn't paying attention where the hole was in the ground. I would just step in or fall off the sidewalk or whatever. And so when I became aware of the way I saw myself, right, Lauri, then it's like, oh, and now I have to reframe the words I speak. I have to reframe the thoughts in my head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think we all have that that feeling of wanting to sort of hold on just because we are pattern-based beings, and I see that from time to time when and I'm sure a lot of you have had this experience. When you go through a major transformation, spiritually or anything else, I think where we come to and what we call the dark night. So that it's that period of letting go of those patterns, and sometimes when after I've gone through a transformation, and let's say I've have one ability that's more heightened than the rest. I tend to go, not focus on the fact that I have this amazing new sense or experience. I go, why are my other senses dulled? Yeah. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah. Not that they're gone, but that right now that's the new focus. But we automatically go to, well, why can't I go back to where I was before? But it's not, you can't, you went through a transformation. So it's really about, just like you were saying, letting go and allowing the change to come in. And, doesn't mean your other senses are heightened. It just means it's transformed.
Right. Yeah. And Lauri, respect that snake, right? There's a reason. It's like the instinct that, like if like even today, I jumped back and I was laughing because my aunt was petrified of snakes. So I suddenly thought, I'm becoming my aunt, but then But I also think it's just instinctual. A snake, I'm going to step back, right? And it's also that sense of respect too, that it's nature, animals, all of us deserve respect. So I'm not going to follow that snake and say, oh, cute snake. I'm going to say, oh, a snake. Hello, snake. I'm so honored you're here. You go your way, and I will.
Right. Go far your way, and I'll
Yeah, right. That's the point. But you know what the thing is? It's so comfortable to stay where we are. It's comfortable to be in the same mindset because we know it. And unfortunately, like I said the other day, the older we get, the more comfortable we are, and that's why the term set in our ways isn't like, that's not BS. That's like real.
But a funny joke about that, the older we get, the stiffer we get. So the longer we sit, the harder it is to move.
Ooh, right. I love that. Yes. So true.
It's true, right? I sit an hour and it's like, you better get up because you're going to have a hard time getting up if you sit another hour. Yeah, movement is so important in all areas of our lives.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And, just as we're talking about cliches and, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, all of those things, right? It's like what we've learned in society that is true. So, or that makes it true. So which is actually true. If you change your mindset, would you really be set in your ways? When you're transforming, you're always changing. So, I try, and I always say, my secret for youth is immaturity. I live perpetually like a toddler in the toy store, and everything is exciting to me. So when you keep that same energy, I feel like, and like I've said a million times before, like I do with spirituality, it's things can always feel new, and you can always transform your experience. And just because before I was afraid of snakes doesn't mean you don't have to be afraid of snakes, but you can, just like Lauri said, transform your relationship with them, and live and let live. And I'm not I kind of love snakes, but there's other things like cockroaches I don't love, and I live in Florida. And they're not my favorite, but I'm gonna live and let live as long as they live somewhere else.
At the school I used to work at, Green Chimneys, we have animals there in nature, and it's a therapy school using those things, but we had snakes right in the nature room. And when I would go with the students, they have a nature teacher, I would go in there. I would not let the students know that I have a respect snakes from a distance sort of relationship. They would come up, Miss Sheffer, do you want to pet the snake? Oh, I think I need to go write a lesson plan. Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. I would never tell them no. I would never say get the snake away from me, because first of all, they would put the snake in my face. But it's it's that sense. But I had to learn to deal with that. I really did. And so I can't say I ever petted the snake, but I would stand there with them and take pictures of the snakes wrapped around their neck and do those things. So I was in the company of snakes without feeling like the company needed to be on me, and
I feel that way about most company.
You know what, you guys, I want you all to see the comment that I just typed over from my Instagram feed. J Perez NY91 says, sometimes you have to ask yourself, are you in your own way? Are you in your way? Sometimes we are the one blocking ourselves. So I wanted to show
thank you very much.
Well, that's brilliant. I think we're always in our own way. Even if somebody is physically standing in your way, it is up to you whether you move. Right. So, I always say, even to my kids, you're the only one that creates your experience, whether somebody's mad at you or not, it's how you react to that. So in a sense, we are the ones that are always blocking ourselves when we're blocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of all these things? We'll give you a chance to chat.
I know.
We're used to interrupting each other.
Yeah,
it's all good. With kind of the title or theme of tonight with being an empowerment, I just like echo what I'm hearing as kind of banter or rant about, because being in our own way, whether it's us all the time or not, we're the ones that assign the meaning to everything. Like, it comes from our own side, whether we're conscious of it or not. And this concept of growth or getting in our comfort zone, right? So I would say the comfort zone is getting in our own way, and the empowerment then would be to lean into the discomfort. So a little bit like, Lauri Sheffer is talking about, like, all right, I didn't need to put the snake on me, but I didn't like run. Like, I didn't like go into the other room and stay in my comfort zone, like coming in to have a new experience with an animal that we had a little bit of fear. So like, if you just look at that from like an empowerment lens, it's like, what level of fear was being embodied by Lauri before choosing to be around the kids and the snakes? Then what level of fear is there? Okay, I'll take a photo of you. Okay, that kind of thing. And so if Lauri had not chosen to get out of her own way, which would have been like, I don't want to be in this room, that fear level would have remained. Nothing would have shifted that. And so this concept to me of empowerment really is about, where can we lean into a little bit more discomfort?
Yes.
And it's like, for me, is empowering.
Yeah,
is
and
the empowerment.
The awareness that it was, there was a sort of ancestral sort of component to this, that my aunt is petrified of snakes, and even like in my family, I was just telling my nephew today, my mom, my aunts, my grandma would all leap on the table if they saw a mouse, or run the other direction if there was a snake. Absolutely. And I was able to go, oh, I'm being my aunt today, and I was able to identify that my that fear from the generations before was spilling over onto me. And so, and from that perspective, saying, this is not my fear so much as this is the fear I was surrounded by. And so therefore it sort of has, come into me, into my field. And that was really important. And the other thing is, for me, especially as a teacher, I always, what has helped me get out of my way is I always want to model positivity. So even when I'm feeling something, I am able, and now this is an issue, right? Because I'm really good for others. I am excellent. I will, I'm excellent, but not so good for myself in the room if I'm all alone. So now, knowing that, I now have to work on, if I see a snake in a room alone, okay,
You guys do know I'm going to have bad dreams all night now.
No. That's why we're going to do Train Your Dreams in our Sedona retreat. Right. So you're going to train your dreams and only talk about empowering interactions with snakes.
That's right. Right. You know what?
You're going to get on the floor, Lauri, and we're going to do a snake slithering dance.
I love that idea.
Oh, yes, I'll do that. Now, see, if it doesn't involve a real snake, I'm good.
And I will say this. I agree with Lauri. I don't have any fear of death. In fact, I will embrace it when it comes. I just don't like the few minutes before it. Whatever's going to happen the few minutes before it. So whether you get bit by a snake or not, but it's still, just like anything else, is always temporary, right? And so there's something to think about. Maybe you just think about that when you see the snake. That whatever's going to happen.
The shamanic program that I did, one of the things we had to do was, it wasn't in the South. I think it was later in the West, which is the jaguar. And that's, facing your shadows. Jaguar is, of course, the predator and the king of the jungle, so to speak. And so I might have been in the North with the hummingbird, but either way, we had to write our own obituary, and we had to write our own obituary. oh man, was that difficult. Because first of all, I have to shine the light on myself. Right? I'm writing my own obituary like I'm dead. And we also do this work where you lay on the floor as if you are dead. And then we use rattles to unwind you, to release you, and do this whole thing with it. But the obituary is something that's difficult for people to do. How is it you want to be seen? Now, I not only was a student, I had apprenticed with this teacher for 2 more times. So I actually wrote my obituary a total of 3 times.
Oh my God.
And so I got to see the shift every time. And it changed dramatically, because the first one was all about what I did for others in the obituary. Right. And by the time I got to the third, I was like, what do I do for myself?
Yeah.
Right. So who is Lauri if it's all about Lauri doing things for herself? Yeah, you think about that. You go to an obituary, but oh, she was such a great teacher. Oh, she was this or that. How about, oh, that Lauri, man, she was so corny, but she made me laugh, and oh, she could also like blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, think about that though. That's the change of perspective, changing your perspective, which then changes the way you live your life.
I love that. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Absolutely. Beautiful. Oh my gosh.
I know. Now I'm going to go right.
I was just going to say, we could do a little riff on our retreat, like doing the shamanic journeying, doing the tapping into the Akashic records. Those are all solid, accurate ways where we can bring in more information and therefore a new perception on things. Like even just your example, Lauri, on, oh, this fear wasn't even mine. Like this got handed down through generations. And then that shift of perception starts to allow there to be a little bit of space to then work around something that if it was only yours, it was only about you, then it's just locked into place. Right.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the reasons why I love doing what we're about to get into in June in Sedona, is expanding those perceptions, shifting our realities, creating new relationships with ourselves and the world.
Yeah. That's really shining a light on things that you wouldn't otherwise. And, we talk about that a lot, as a group about, focusing on, you think after somebody's been doing this for years and years that, they're at this new state of consciousness. We are always shifting. We are always transforming. And it is good to, have that healthy look at yourself, because for so long, many of us have sort of seen the world with blinders on, with films of, other people's perceptions, your own ideals and all of these things that, and it's not a bad thing. It's just learning to become more open as a being to then receive new information, because no matter how long you have been doing this, there's always something more that you need to receive. And it always comes in when it's necessary. So I don't want people at home thinking, okay, so there's a bunch of stuff that I have to constantly do. It's not like that. It's more of a progression and where you are at that moment.
Yeah.
And, it's how your path is guided for you.
Yeah. And leading into it, the thing is that I'm always really big on is, like you go into therapy, right? You're in therapy for a long time, right? I mean, and even like when you're working with your traumas and shamanic work or whatever, it unfolds gently. The thing is to unfold it gently in a way where you can have those aha moments, but the aha moments you're ready for.
Yes.
And that is sort of what we've been very cautious with when designing this retreat, is to be able to start with the more gentler things, the meditation, the manifestation work that, Lauri Albert does, all the time. So really starting there as a way to prepare you, it's like to get it ready. And then, so as you settle, then you're more ready, right? And and that's the piece.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, I think what I love about the way we've kind of constructed this retreat is that there is going to be practical stuff that we can give you practical ways to shift your mindset and, and learn how to be more mindful of your life, and learn how to reframe the ways that you think in your head. But there's also going to be the ceremonial and the spiritual aspect to this. And that's, to me, what I'm so excited, because it's both sides of sort of the coin, So does anybody want to speak to that a little bit?
I think we all do, but I'll let the others go.
And we're all like,
yeah.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Go for it.
You go. Theon.
Okay. Well, you're right. I mean, Lauri and I talk about this a lot too. All of us do. What I have come to know in my experience, is that, empowering yourself with, or developing your intuitive abilities. It's so important, not just to be a professional reader or healer or anything like that. It's really just about living an intuitive life in general, to be able to traverse it. And yes, we talked about, pinpointing some of what holds us back, right? So we focus on what holds us back, but then what do we do with it? We heal it. We learn ways to transform it, and then comes the empowerment, and then the transformation. But then what happens after you leave this magical retreat? You're going to go home and you're going to be this magical being. And then your kids are going to throw their clothes on the floor, and you're going to go, why did you do this? Right? I was just in a spiritual place. No, it's not about that. What we're really showing you, we're giving you the tools. We're building the foundation for you to be able to move forward easier within your life. And when your kids throw their toys on the floor or whatever, then you can say, okay, how did I handle it before? How am I going to handle it now? And so there's a practicality in this, of course. I mean, you're not all going to become hippies and live in a van and, all of these things just because you went to this retreat. You are really building a solid foundation to move forward within your life.
Yeah, I only want to say, if I'm going to live in the van, it's going to be one of those really nice converted ones that has the bathroom and the shower and everything like that. So my, maybe in my 20s or 30s, I might have lived in the van, the hippie van. But
why do you think I'm saying it? I was looking at vans today. I was like, ooh, I love that.
So yeah, coping mechanisms in some of those that we use, and I know Lauri Albert loves to talk about music and the influence of music, and Sonia, you're a huge movement person, and those two together are some things that we can take with us and use on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Sonia. We need to give her time because she's so nice.
I'll just add in, beginning soft into our container, but also having things where we also go really deep. And of course, I'm here, a resident of Sedona, and part of that whole container is Sedona, and it is the sacred energies of this land. So yes, we'll begin soft. We might identify what we feel is holding us back, but as we're already discussing here, what we think we might be holding us back, we don't even know. So part of it is also to uncover some things that we have yet to discover about ourselves. And in the whole container here is the magic that is Sedona here. This land dates back 8,000 to 10,000 years. Human beings have been coming here for sacred ritual, for pilgrimage, for deep healing. And we have records of shamans visiting here for thousands and thousands of years, as far north as Alaska and as far south as South America. So part of this is a big part is the container that is Sedona, which is very grounding, therefore very safe, very connected, and also very loving. So that container of this like safe, grounded, loving energies that are here to really transform. And what I have noticed on a personal level and on, having the honor of doing retreats like this and taking people on the land is when you come into this container, when you choose like, hey, I'm resonating with these women. It's my time. June is the time for me. It's your heart space that will meet this sacred land of Sedona that will create some of the deepest alchemy that is, our English language does not do it justice. And so the container is, yes, we're going to learn some things about ourselves. We're going to discover new things. We're going to journey with each other. And in the whole space, you'll be held in a very, very grounded, safe, loving way of the land here that will be woven in from beginning to end and throughout, holding that space for us and you.
I know, absolutely. Can I just plug Sonia real quick? So I just want to say, everything that Sonia's saying, she means so deeply. And how I met her is I saw her information online, and I booked just a hike with her, and it was definitely not what I was expecting. And of course, I took along my very pragmatic and technical husband, who really, I definitely at the time was not as into this stuff. And she takes us on the land. And it is the most magical experience I've ever had. And, that this is partly why I love Sedona so much. And I go there as often as I can, is because of, people like Sonia and the way that she loves that land, the way that she knows every little detail about it, as if every inch of that place is her own backyard. And it is Sonia. And what do we call you? She's basically the ambassador, the guide for Sedona. But it is that land that breeds that kind of energy. And and I've been there several times, and every time I've had these amazing, transformational, life-changing experiences. And I can only imagine what our retreat is going to feel like with the energy of Sedona. If you ask Sonia anything about the history, obviously she's kind of telling everybody, she knows it. And that's from somebody that truly understands her space, understands the land around her. And what better of a guide to have on this retreat with all of these amazing just incredible and talented intuitives, mediums, shamans that we're having here. And then with this piece, I'm just so excited myself. So yeah, it's a little plug. Yeah.
I appreciate the plug, and I warmly accept your praises. And there's all four of us women here who are deeply intuitive and dropped in our own way. We have like Lauri Sheffer here with shamanism, and Lauri Albert here with manifestation. Like, all of us have our own special ways of deep connecting, and that is just going to be amplified here in the field of Sedona. Right. So as those who are here live, you can see our synergy and how giddy we are about coming together, in about a month. But what I see is, yes, Sedona will meet you in the heart space, and that will bring great alchemy to whatever growth you're traversing, whatever transformation, expansion, contraction, whatever it might be. And for the four of us, all of our gifts will not only come together in this container, but they will be amplified many, many times. So it's just like pure, yeah, look at Laura. I was like, yeah, I know.
Get the egg in the way.
I know.
Do you know what I can't wait for? Okay, so like when you guys that are like here, like with us, you have to understand that when the four of us get together, there's such synchronicity and such magic that happens. So, and this is just online. Can you imagine the way it's going to be when we are together in person? That energy is going to be freaking off the charts. I am so excited.
You know, this is a crazy little thought that popped in my head. You know, so when I used to, the me from maybe, we'll go back 10 years, maybe 15 years. If I had like heard something like this, I would have been like, oh, it's a little too woo-woo for me, right? I would have been like, you know, it's woo-woo. And I'll never forget when especially when I got into mediumship, someone said to me, they said, are you sure you're a medium? I says, what do you mean? Well, you don't dress like a medium. You don't act like a medium. Like, what is that? You know, and it's this concept that sometimes people have, and this, you know, when you think about it, right? And that I think that we're all very grounded people and grounded in our spirituality and in our soul work and in our humanness. And that's really the place we're coming from. You know, I am told by my wife I can be out there sometimes, but you know, but it's that grounded out there, you know, it's that my feet are still very much planted. And that is it, you know, that is the piece, you know, coming to Sedona, really feeling the groundedness as well. Not only, you know, working that work in the sense that some do like think of as woo-woo, but it's all the groundedness that occurs. And to me, that is the key, is learning how to feel centered in the earth and centered in yourself, more than always flying up here in the ethers. That's great, but no one can stay up in the ethers, you know, for long. And that's what's important, is to be comfortable within yourself.
Yes. And, you know, it speaks to one of the practices we're going to do. We're going to circulate the earth and cosmic energy, right? And when you're able to do that, you're able to balance between the two, the physical and the eternal side of you. So, you know, we may be joking, but honestly, it is our energy for sure. You know, and having a great time and getting so excited because we know exactly what's going to happen. And we're, you know, and I'm just excited to see people transform. That's always been my thing, is I love to see that moment of, you know, sort of that awakening, you know, and we go through awakenings many times in our lives, but some are more memorable than others. And I know from my own experiences, many of my most transformative awakenings have come from after a visit in Sedona. And some that I didn't even know I was even, you know, ready for or anything, just kind of came. That's the power of Sedona. I mean, I remember Sonia told me when I was first there that Sedona, I believe, has a cortex plate. It basically all, you know, over or under the land. And so that is a conductor of that energy. And therefore, well, that plus of thousands of years of ceremony, the energy is much, much more heightened than most other areas. So, you know, there's vortices all over Sedona, and it's decided to call itself a new name. No, but it, you know, and it's so powerful. And you know, one thing I said, because there are some very popular areas, and I asked Sonia, I'm like, I don't want to do the tourist version. I want to see it. And oh my gosh, I mean, there were many times that I just wanted to cry looking at this beautiful land, and you know, in these parts that just was like, you could hear a pin drop quiet, and it was just. It was just beautiful. It was so beautiful. So I'm excited to be able to give that to people, you know, because it was so memorable for me, and so, you know, life-changing for me, that I just want people to experience that.
Yeah. So if anybody has any questions regarding the retreat or any of the sort of the tidbits, I don't know where that word came from today.
I love it.
But the things that we've talked about so far, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to type it in a chat, wherever you are. And I was thinking what I could do is, let me tell you guys about some of the logistics. Okay. So the retreat is $999. Okay. But until the end of the month, is that right, Theon? Until the end of the month, if you use the promo code, I don't know what the promo code is. But
it's the Infinite You Retreat 10.
The Infinite You Retreat 10.
Yes, and you know what? I believe
no, it's not retreat. It's just the Infinite You 10, right?
Oh, Infinite You 10. Sorry, but it is on our details page, so I'm sure Lauri will put that up for everybody. And
yes,
and so I believe it is till the end of this month. I have to confirm. I was I think I gave somebody else the wrong information today, but I will confirm.
And we found out today that there's only I mean, I don't mean to like hurry everybody around, but there's only, I believe, 3 rooms left at our special rate at the hotel that's on the website page, which I'm gonna put on up here now.
Which is right next to where we'll be doing our practices. So we got the discount code, but there's only 3 rooms left. So if you are looking to make the hotel stay, I would do it this week. Otherwise it might be gone. But if you do sign up and after the rooms are booked, just reach out to us. We'll give you alternative places to stay that are nearby.
Yeah. And we can, I mean, if anybody has any questions that they don't want to like write in a chat or whatever, please feel free to reach out to any of us, because that's what we're here for. We want you to feel comfortable in your decision to come to the retreat. Oh, and let's not forget also too, that we have a payment plan. If anybody has, issues and stuff, with finances, there are payment plans available. So, So, I just want to say, Elizabeth has a question. She said, why do you feel one of the
I think it's reasons,
constant obstacles come up in people's lives, even when they are making a lot of changes to move forward in life?
Ooh, that's complex, right? That is so complex. I think there's a lot of reasons for that. Let's look at the soul, and let's look at who we are underneath, this lifetime. And it's taken me a long time to get to that place where I can really understand that. Some obstacles are necessary. Oh, that stinks, doesn't it? That stinks. You're doing all this doggone hard work, and these darn obstacles keep popping themselves up. And sometimes they're necessary because they help us with our growth. And, and there's nothing worse that my 7th and 8th graders they hated that when I would say that to them. They'd be, but Ms. Sheffer, I already did that problem. Why do I have, math, right? Why do I have to do it again? Why? You're only going to get better with it. You're not going to remember unless we practice that in 2-step equations. So they used to think if they did something once, it was good. They were good, right? They passed the test and it's over. And we only learn through practice. And so sometimes obstacles are necessary because they help us to build strength. They help us to continue to grow. And I know it stinks, and that's such I don't know, it feels like a canned answer, but I really do believe that. I think that through those tests, I'm challenged. Sometimes I know I can drift backwards and get into my comfort zone again. And so sometimes I have to be challenged to stay. That doggone snake has to jump out at me again, and we should stop. And that's just, I think that's the answer.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Lauri. Go ahead.
Well, I'm sorry. So I just wanted to sort of piggyback onto that. I really kind of think too that spirit has this way of when you are ready, whether you know it or not, it might be consciously ready or unconsciously ready. Spirit has this way of just putting little things right in your way when you're ready to take the next step. So Elizabeth, what I would say to you is that when you are ready, spirit will put these little obstacles in your way, because spirit knows which way you need to go. I mean, spirit, whenever I use the word spirit, I could mean God, I could say universe, I could say source, I could say anything. I just happen to use the word spirit. So in terms of that, spirit knows what you need when you need it. Okay. And when you're ready to conquer these obstacles. That's just my thought process. Go ahead, Theon.
Yeah,
What are you gonna say about it?
Oh no, I was just gonna say both. I definitely agree, and I completely understand where you're coming from, Elizabeth. And sometimes it is it is the lesson itself that you're learning, right? So it is about, okay, so I'm on this path and I really need to understand this, and then something gets thrown in, right? That's what you're seeing. Well, think about that. Why is it getting thrown in? Is it a test of resilience? Is it a test of it could be all of those things, but it is for you to just stop, not see it as a hurdle, see it as, what is this telling me? And then when you change the way that you view it, oftentimes it's probably spirit wanting you to change the way you view it. Like so when you look at something as a hurdle, as an obstacle, it will always therefore be a hurdle or an obstacle. When you look at everything as a lesson or a way to view your situation or experience in a different light, then that's what it becomes. So however that it is coming in, any way that we've all just spoke about, always just stop and view it and take it as, what do I need to learn?
Sonia, did you want to add something to that? I feel your energy.
I know we all want to say things.
I agree with everything that's been shared on this platform. Is, it's an obstacle because we say it's an obstacle. And I know that sounds like really cliche, but as I'm listening to everybody share, I'm like, okay, well, when I like to put myself in someone else's shoes. So where was I asking this question in my life? Being like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Like, oh, like I've been doing all these things, and then this gets thrown at me. And where I've really held that, and not just a perception, like it's an embodied feeling. And it takes me back to a time where I was just launching my yoga teacher training. I've gone through a couple cycles, and it was just getting momentum, and it was kind of more of a side gig of mine. And I had a full-time job as an operations manager at a mental health nonprofit. And we were getting ready to do our annual art show. It's a big deal. It's this huge event. The whole community goes, like, this momentum was going. I love this job with all my heart and soul. I got fired and dumped by my boyfriend within the same 2 weeks of each other. Like, I think I got dumped on Thanksgiving and I got fired 2 weeks before Christmas, like days before this big show that took like 6 months for me to produce. And I was devastated, and I was like, how could this be happening? I had all this momentum. My job was going great. And, there's a whole story on why that unfolded. In that moment, I was like, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Now, that was many years ago. And now I see how it was happening for me. Yeah. Like what I thought was my rhythm and what I thought was my growth pattern and what I thought my heart loved and I wanted to do it more. All of that was true to me then, but there was something so much bigger for me on the other side. Some things needed to get wiped out of my life that I wasn't going to do myself, because I thought I knew what I needed. I thought this guy was great. I thought this job is what I needed to continue to do. And so I needed, kind of a hard swipe in my life. And so what I'll say then is, where can you go back in your life and find something different than the current that we're perceiving an obstacle right now, and see how maybe what you thought you needed at that one time, things needed to shift, spirit needed to interject, guides need to interject, whatever, to redirect in a way, or to have us learn and face it. And just like Lauri Sheffer said, like, we need practice, like whether we want to admit it or not, like we need the practice of like maybe some repeats. And then that goes back to what Theon is saying, is meeting the thing, especially if it's like a repeat lesson, it's like this, the same thing always keeps happening. It's like, but how am I different? Like, how am I different? Like, here I have a character, like, you get like repeat characters in your life so we can learn the lesson. And so one of my mottos for myself is, if I'm in the like, obstacle viewpoint, like, oh, why is this happening to me again? Or this is challenging, this is difficult, I don't like this kind of person, why do they keep showing up, whatever it might be, I'm like, well, you haven't learned your lesson yet, have you? It's like, do one more math problem. Like, you gotta lock it in with some practice. And so then I'll take what Theon said is, how am I different? So then I'll go back. I'm like, okay, if I have this character that's a little challenging or a little triggering, take Sonia 5 years ago and be like, how would Sonia 5 years ago be interacting with this character? And how is Sonia interacting with this character now? And I'm like, oh, maybe it's not even an obstacle at all. It's just to show you how much you've grown, or it's to show you the strength that you have, or the resiliency that you have. So it might seem like an obstacle is repeating, but we also need to be aware of what we're learning or growing from, because a lot of times we like check something off our list, like Lauri Sheffer said, and like, I already did that. I don't need to ever return to it again. But sometimes it comes to us so we can realize how strong we are, or how much we have grown, or how much more compassion we have created for ourselves, and then can hold those challenging characters in that space. So we get the obstacle, or we get the challenge, or we get the repeat pattern, but it's just to show where maybe we're different and how we've grown. So maybe the pattern is still there, but then it's not so much of a problem anymore. And if it's still a problem, then this is my motto, because I wanted it to wrap up. Like, I don't want the difficult thing to be there anymore. So I'm like, okay, my lesson, here's what I think I've learned so far. Clearly there's something still on my blind side. I'm open. Like, I'm just like, I'm open for the lesson, because, the sooner we learn, the sooner it wraps up too. So it's like meeting the obstacle with that open heart, with the humility, and just saying, I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to see. Show me what I'm not seeing. Show me what I'm not seeing. And that usually gets it chugging along pretty good, at least for me.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That was so beautifully said.
I know.
That was great. And I would, as you were talking, Sonia, it just reminds me of like in the Andean shamanic practice, that when you hit the east, it's an eagle condor. And so eagle condor, you're soaring above and looking at things with a new perspective. And I think at like the last, so when I chose to quit teaching, to retire from teaching, the spirit had spoken to me and says, you gotta quit, because you're meant to go full time into the mediumship and into the shamanism. This is what you're meant to do. Well, doggone it. That was, so I had amazing retirement at the end of June. I'm all set, right? And I was starting to involve me. I was getting my practice going. Well, my brother had cancer for a number of years, and suddenly he ended up in hospice. And so that September, I was with my brother in Georgia, and I got to spend and be with my brother for the end of his life, and devote myself to my brother. I wouldn't have been able to do that if I had been teaching. And one could say, doggone it, this major obstacle just came in my life for me moving on. And yeah, it did stop, for a little bit. But what I got was an amazing, yes, it's painful. My brother passed away, but I got a gift. I was given a gift, and I got to give a gift. I got to be there for my brother. I got to, oh, I mean, it was incredible.
So
It was beautiful. And yeah, it was sad and it was heartrending, but I got to be present.
yeah.
And so when I, when I rise above and see it from a different perspective, and I'm able to go, oh my gosh, look what I was given and look what I gave. And then, it like the next year, this past fall, my father got sick and, and passed away. And it was in October, November. And once again, as a teacher, you just don't leave your kids at the beginning of the school year. It's impossible. I was present again, and I got to be there. And I was also able to take the past and not get wrapped up in it, not get wrapped up in the story of the past. And I was able to be present with my father without the story.
Yeah.
And and I was able to understand, this sucks, and it does. But what I was able to do is go, okay, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for where I'm at in my life, that I don't get caught up in all the nonsense, and I'm just right here for him and for the family. And so that is, I think, the shift. Things happen. They happen. They just happen. And we can't expect, a free ride. Life is life, and we are humans. And I think it's just how we choose to perceive ourselves in them, and how we choose to ride the roller coaster. Sometimes you need to, I'm sorry, guys. This is total Lauri Sheffer. Theon loves this part of me.
I know, me too.
I know.
I am. I'm like,
To just take the throw up bag with you, because you're going to throw up. It's better to throw up in the bag than on your lap. Right?
I love Lauri for so many reasons.
I'm right there as one of them.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I do love a good throw up or poop joke.
Yeah, have your coping skills, kids. Have your coping skills.
No, but I do want to say, and yes, I love every single person on this platform, and I do want to say somebody very special hopped on. Her name is Christy Morris, and I'm just so grateful for you. And she had gone through something very pretty difficult, and she is just a wonderful person. And oh, thank you, Lauri. I love how you're really good at this. But anyway, so I'm so glad that we can kind of lighten your night up, and definitely love to hear from her. But I that was just a side note. But if you want to add anything, I'm sorry, I'm like hosting your show with you.
Great. No, I love it.
We're so close that I'm like, I feel like I'm already, we all moved in together.
I love it. Great.
But I want to say with Lauri Sheffer, she kind of glazed over some of the things that she has done for her family. But what she does for her family, she does for everyone. And it's so beautiful. And I think that's why I needed to laugh in order to not cry, just because of how amazing, you have been, and what you have done and were able to have with your family, and especially ones that have passed. It's not just her brother and father that she has done this with, and she continues to be that rock for everyone. And so it's just beautiful. So I just wanted to say that. I wanted to plug Lauri, and then I'm going to go for Lauri Albert after this. I'm going to plug you.
You're such a riot. Oh my God. I have to share though with Elizabeth, and it's just so interesting because, okay, so Elizabeth is the one that had the question initially, and then Christy came on, and then Courtney was here. Now, this is so amazing. I pulled a card initially for just Elizabeth, but hopefully Courtney and Christy, you're still here, because I feel like that this is a message for all of us, but the three of you. I pulled from the Sacred Forest deck, I pulled the Storm Spirit, and it says chaos, right? Now, isn't that interesting based on what we were talking about? But look up at the top. Okay, so there's like a giant sort of God type figure and he's causing chaos up there, with the thing. But look at the bottom. Look at the bottom of the picture. We've got, it's like, it's light down here, and it doesn't look like there's a storm down at the bottom. So my point is that what I get for you guys from this card is that basically what everybody said. Okay. However, it's amazing that Spirit just like brought this card to the forefront. Okay. So this is what I want to say about this. Just allow yourself to be present in whatever the moment is. Okay. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's scary, whether it's sad, whatever. That sounded like a rhyme and I didn't mean to do that, but I just really want to say that, when we start to just understand that, shitty things are going to happen to us in this life. And I'm really sorry to say it, but it's true. Really bad things are going to happen to us. But we need to allow ourselves a few things. We need to allow ourselves to understand and feel, whether it's grief, whether it's, being scared, whatever it is, allow yourself to feel that. But then know that on the other side of that, once we're allowing ourselves to let it go, let all of that go, that's where the lesson is. And that's where the peace comes. And that's where the joy comes, from your heart, So that's what I just wanted to say to the three of you. It just, it's amazing.
Just beautiful. You're amazing, Lauri. That was so sweet. I love that. And that's, and again, to plug my friend Lauri Albert, I do want to say, but you nailed it. And just beautiful words. And, I like every time I hear all of you talk, I'm just get more and more excited about the retreat, just because I know what we bring to it. And I know, that just as much, and we talked about this before, just as much as people who will be joining us are going to really take from it and transform. I truly believe that we individually will also do the same, and as well as our group too.
Yes.
It's just beautiful, and the magic we will create.
Yeah.
So.
And I think Theon, your grandma showed up again in the kitchen, and so here it is.
She always does, and I want to smell her hands.
She's very
garlic and onions.
So a lot of times we're first taught to cook, and the foods we use can be unhealthy for us. And then sooner or later, especially as you age, you realize you need to make changes to the pot. And she says that doesn't mean the food has to taste worse. It actually, you're doing things that are good for you. So you're changing the ingredients. You're still making the stew. You're still making the food, but you're making it in a more healthy way that is going to feed you and nurture you and sustain you in a way that is better for you. I love that.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, we'll talk after that, after this, because yes, that makes a lot of sense. And it has a lot to do with food, and healthy choices. So, and yes, healthy choices in food as well. But it's funny, a little side note about my grandmother. She, was a food snob because she had restaurants and was this like insanely great cook. Oftentimes she comes to me, and if we get a recipe wrong, like your sister made this and it was wrong. Like, I'm telling you, on several occasions and through other mediums have told me, oh, your grandmother said that your, what was it? It was something was wrong. And I was like, oh. And, but that's a beautiful statement from her, actually. So thank you so much.
Yeah, beautiful metaphor, right? It's
yes,
yeah,
it is gorgeous. So, does anybody have any questions, or does any of you have anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up for the night? Anything else we want to say about the?
One thing is, I do want to say, as far as the retreat, if you are looking to do the hotels, I'm just going to kind of reiterate what we were saying. We do only have 3 spots left at the hotel. I think there are 3 rooms left. So
at the discount rate, you could probably get
the
it.
Discount.
Yeah.
Yes. And we only have 3 rooms left in the block. So feel free to, or try to get it. If you're going to register, try to book it this week. Cause they're more than likely going to be gone by the end of this week. And, we're just excited and, ready to, I think, transform, with you.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. I was literally just thinking that, Theon. I mean, it's like, it's really gonna be, it's gonna be transformative on, I think, more than just the humanistic level. I think it's going to be transformative for us as well as the participants. And I that's what I'm super excited about. Not that I'm ready for a transformation, but I feel like something's coming, and I feel like that it's going to be coming into fruition on that weekend. So I'm so excited. Oh, Christy says, "Oh, how I wish I could be there." She'll still be recovering. So, but we will hold you in our heart, Christy, of course. Oh my gosh. So yeah. So
definitely keep me posted, Christy. Oh, sorry.
No, that's so sweet. So that's who we are, you guys. Theon went around and was telling everybody these amazing things, but let me tell you a little bit about Theon, if you don't mind. Oh my gosh. First of all, she looks like a queen sitting there, right? She is a
That's
queen.
just because I have a shirt that looks like wings.
No, you're like, I just always love your background. It's just adorable. But here's the thing, you guys. When she decides she wants to do something, she does it. And that's what I just fell in love with you because of that, Theon. And you have the ability to make things happen. You have the ability to see things in other people and other situations. And then you lead us all there. And that's the beauty of evolveme.com, because that's what's so amazing about it, because you've led us all to this place. And now look at us. We wouldn't be here if she hadn't created evolveme.com. That's just the simple truth, So I thank you for that. Thank you for creating something. I mean, and I feel like I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. I always go and I think about the movie It's a Wonderful Life. And I know I talk about this all the time, you guys, but I think about the movie It's a Wonderful Life. What he does is George Bailey is given this amazing gift of seeing what the world would be like without him there, if he had never been born. And I just think to myself, in terms of evolveme.com, if you hadn't created evolveme.com, I think this world would be a little bit more dim of a place. And I mean that from my heart, I mean, I'm so honored to be in this conversation and doing this retreat, because you guys, I'm telling you, Theon is, I mean, we're all magical, but there's something I just want to say about Theon. She's just and
you're gonna make me cry now. Stop it.
Love.
No.
Just love for humanity, for all of us. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Well, I love you, and I just, that, I get shy, and now I'm gonna have to try to make a joke, so to avoid the tears.
Look, Rachel agrees. Look. Rachel agrees.
And I love you, Rachel.
That's so cute. The next time we're going to have to talk about those films. Yours is It's a Wonderful Life, and mine is Lord of the Rings. So we'll have to, that moment.
I need to watch that movie.
Theon and I, we share a lot, right? And so that moment, I was going to say, shadows from last time we had the conversation, when Frodo and Sam are in Mordor, and the ring has, Gollum, bites the ring off Frodo's finger, and they're there and they're together and they're huddled and they think this is the end. And then Sam is talking to Frodo about someday we're going to be sharing this with other, the whole thing. And then the eagles come. You see that? You see that?
Oh my gosh.
That's like my treasured moment. I always remember that when I'm in the darkest moment, the eagles will arrive. They will arrive. And that is, and that's, and we can be each other's eagles. And that's the cool thing that we do for each other. We can be each other's eagles.
Absolutely. I honestly, and a lot of other, sort of, and this is why I wanted to do this. It was for my own selfish needs of wanting an authentic community. I want to have a real relationship with people, and them always feel that unconditional love, and that without the judgment, without feeling you have to be better or do better, because just being is the most important, and just sharing this time and this and the love that we have. Look at what we've created so far together. So I should be thanking all of you for doing all of this, and for being for hearing me calling and coming like the eagle. And so I'm more Frodo, and not just because I'm short, but no, but it is true that not one person is community. So we've all created something beautiful together. Before it was just me. It was just plain old me talking to myself like a crazy person. But you all just made that magical, and I'm just blessed every day for all of you.
Awesome. So before we close, I just picked a card from the Sacred Forest deck, and I call it the fairy deck, by the way. And I picked it for all of us. Okay. Not just the four of us, but for everybody that's listening tonight. And I want to share it with you guys. I pulled the bee spirit, and then it says prosperity. And I just want to throw that out to you guys, because you know what? That's what this is. We have the capability of being prosperous in whatever we choose to be prosperous in. I hope that makes sense. We have the ability for that. We have the capability, if we change our thoughts, if we allow ourselves to just be the joy, be the love that the world needs. So I just want to leave this with you guys. We are the bee spirit. So that's my closing thought. Does anybody have anything else that they want to say before we head out of here? No?
Just see you all in Sedona.
See you all in Sedona. It is June 13th through the 16th of this year, and we would love to see you all there. So reach out to us if you have any questions. Much love to you guys. And I hope everybody has a beautiful evening. Take care of you.
Bye.
Take care.